Hello and welcome to Thought Provoking Tech. I'm Zach, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the trend or hashtag, whatever you want to call it, that TFI cat tips, also over on YouTube, has started. The trend that he's trying to start is let me make my own collection, and this is primarily or really for users of Autodesk software. So if you're not familiar with Autodesk software, they have what they call collections. They have, I believe, three different collections. The one that I use in my daily life is called the Product Design Collection. They have one for the entertainment industry, and I believe there's one for the architecture / building design industry too. I think that's the three collections that they have. They might have another one that I'm not aware of, but that's kind of just the gist of what the collections are. Now, more on to what this kind of initiative is and what the reasoning behind it. So, let me make my own collection is essentially asking for customization to these kind of cookie cutter collections to really allow end users that are utilizing Autodesk products in their daily life to fully take advantage of the Autodesk software that's available out there and kind of build their collection to really suit their strengths. And allow them to fully utilize it in their professional, capacity. So this is something that I'm very passionate about, and it's a little bit different from my normal videos, but something that I felt that since I'm so passionate about it, and it's something that struck a chord with me, I wanted to help kind of push the initiative forward a little bit with my own video, share some of my own thoughts, and kind of in short, that's kind of why this video is here. Hopefully it won't be a little bit too long a video, but I know sometimes I get a little bit long in the word and lose my briefness in my videos. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the quick thoughts I have on this. So here you can see the product design collection, and as you can see, it's almost $2,500 a year per user. That might seem like a massive sum of money, but when you look at just the cost of one of these pieces of software by itself, it's actually an amazing deal with all the software that you get. Now, onto the sad part of what the collections, or previously they were called suites. If you had used Autodesk software in the past, you'd be more familiar with the term suites. These collections have a ton of software, but they're, as I said earlier, they're kind of cookie cutter. Users might only use 10 to 15% of the software that's available if they only use one or two of the apps. As you can see here, there's a ton of features. Not all these are like full feature programs, but some of them are just additional features, such as like rendering in A360 and cloud storage. There's a lot of different things that people may or may not take advantage of, and there's a lot of things that we don't take advantage of in our daily use, and having some customization ability would be amazing. For example, Inventor Professional is kind of the core of what I use in my daily life at work. It's a high-end 3D CAD software. It's comparable to SolidWorks, which seems to be a little more popular in the industry, in the manufacturing and design industry in general. But you kind of have Inventor Professional. You also have like Fusion 360, which fills some of the roles as Inventor Professional, but also has some CAM features. I think the 3D CAD is stronger in Inventor Professional personally, but Fusion 360 is kind of trying to form an all-in-one solution to go, straight to 3D printing, straight to a mill machine, for example, with the CAM software that they're building. So there's some pretty interesting things that they're doing there that do have some strengths in the Fusion 360. Then you kind of have AutoCAD, which is your more traditional 2D CAD, but which does have 3D features. But I really rarely actually touch AutoCAD simply because I was born in the 3D era. Inventor will do everything that I need it to do. It'll do 2D drawings if I need it to. It does renders. It does 3D design. It does solid modeling. It does sheet metal. It kind of does everything that I need it to do for, like the CAD side of my daily life. A big, huge kind of thing that really annoys me with the kind of cookie cutter designs is 3ds Max in the Product Design Collection. I have about a year and a half of formal training with Maya and would love the ability to just swap out 3ds Max and Maya for my collection as just a very simple example of what I would kind of customize. Both 3ds Max definitely does fit with the Product Design Collection, but the argument could definitely be made for Maya too, as they have a ton of overlap. Maya seems to be used more for movies, whereas 3ds Max seems to be used more heavily in games, but they cross over all the time. For product design, both of them are I see used pretty heavily in those two industries, because neither one of them is really designed specifically for product design, whereas Maya is used more traditionally in movies and CGI, whereas 3ds Max kind of originated with games, and I see it being used very heavily in the game industry. So there's a lot of different features, with this software. For example, one of the things that has utterly no use for me is cloud storage. At work, we have servers set up that host all the data because we're a small business. There's no reason to have, with being such a small business, having this set of users being with this service, maybe sales being with this service, purchasing being with this service. It would just be way too much for a small, business or a medium-sized business, even to that degree, to have 4 or 5 different services where all your data is being stored on. So with that in mind, there's a lot of different things that you could kind of take out or add in to kind of really customize these solutions to really allow people to really take advantage of AutoCAD products, or Autodesk products, sorry. There, like a lot of users, like I can't justify, requesting to spend additional money on Maya really for the benefit that's going to give me when we have 3ds Max, because they do overlap so heavily. There's a lot of different ways that Autodesk could handle this, this ideal and this movement. There's something simple as essentially having different tiers of product collections instead of having set product collections, and you get so many credits, and different pieces of software or different features are worth certain amounts of credits. For example, Inventor Professional could be worth 5 credits, and just throwing these numbers out, not trying to say that a certain piece of software is worth more than the other. They could base these numbers on what they sell these products for individually, but AutoCAD could be worth 5, but the kind of the electrical focus of AutoCAD, the AutoCAD electrical kind of add-on, it could be worth 2 credits, for example. Those numbers that I'm just pulling out of the air, but just you kind of get the gist of you spend $2,500 for a collection, then you essentially get maybe 25 credits. Each credit is essentially worth $100, and they can kind of justify the collection based upon that. Then you could get a tier that has 40 credits, or they could offer probably 2 or 3 different tiers and allow people to really build a customized collection that they get the best software that they could really take advantage of, while at the same time getting a discount from rather than have to buy all those pieces of software individually. It could also be something simple as blocks, where I know Maya and 3ds Max, for my use case, it's something I'm focusing on, are cost the exact same individually. They could just have blocks where you could swap out different pieces of software for different chunks. For example, something that would make a little more sense for some of us at my work is kind of that don't really use AutoCAD, is replacing AutoCAD with Revit, for example, because some of our products that we do put out there for we make for engineers that do use Revit, and it'd be nice to have Revit kind of automatically included in our packages. So there's a lot of different things that you could kind of swap out different components, and they could kind of evaluate on their end to kind of make this block equal to this block, and you could have the ability to they might not be apples to apples, whereas 3ds Max and Maya, that's a very easy apples to apples comparison. The AutoCAD big block of 5 programs that they have here, they have these 4 AutoCAD programs, and there's AutoCAD architecture down here. That might not be an apples to apples switch for like a Revit system or something like that, but they could have it roughly be the equivalent value, and you could swap those blocks out. That'd be something that'd be very simple. It wouldn't be completely customizable, but it would give you at least some customization to your collection, to better suit it to your personal strengths and simply just preferences. There's a lot of features here that it kind of boils down to preference. AutoCAD does have 3D features. You could simply use AutoCAD for your 3D work. I think Inventor is better in 3D, just my personal opinion. It's kind of more suited to 3D CAD, in my personal opinion, because it's kind of built really for 3D, whereas AutoCAD kind of started 2D and kind of added 3D kind of as an add-on. If you kind of live in 3D like I do, then Inventor makes more sense personally. But people do use both, and that's a big strength of the product design collection. It does include both for a very valuable sum. But there is a huge argument for the value both to customers and to Autodesk itself, for having kind of some customization, different, even just different tiers, or different, just a level of customization. It doesn't have to be complete, straight out, customization of, collections. Even just some level of customization would still benefit Autodesk, because their users would be more satisfied with the software if they could fully take advantage of it based upon their strengths, their preferences in software, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of my opinions and some thoughts on this initiative, this movement, from some of us in the CAD market. Hopefully Autodesk hears our ears. Definitely use the hashtag let me make my own collection over on Twitter. Include at Autodesk to kind of hopefully get their awareness, and just kind of share the thoughts and what your opinions, and maybe leave some comments in the description below why you think this is a good idea or why you think it might be a bad idea. Definitely interested in hearing other people's thoughts on this matter. As someone that's kind of young in the world of CAD, maybe I'm just naive, and this is just a young man's dream, and those that are more experts might have very valid reasons why this simply doesn't make sense. I would love to hear your thoughts too. If you did like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and also consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, or if you're already an existing subscriber and haven't done so already, there's that little bell. If you click that little bell, you'll be notified when I release new videos. I've been trying to do at least one video a week. I might bump that up to 2 in the future if time allows. I'm going to hopefully get to do some of my more project-focused projects here pretty soon. I have a pretty cool project that I'm working on now, for kind of a portable kind of work area, a workshop, kind of, how should I say this, kind of portable electronics lab, I guess, in a way. Just allow me to easily move between, different areas, and work on my electronics projects a little bit easier, keep everything together and organized, and have, always have my tools where I need it, because I use them at work, I use them at home, and there's a lot of people that go to maker spaces, so it's gonna be a pretty cool project, I think, once I actually get it finished. Once again, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content that I'm producing. Also consider heading over to Patreon and becoming my patron if you are liking the content that I'm producing. I would be forever thankful for that. And once again, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, Zach out.